Hello guys, so this is just a quick review of Lenovo's phone, the Lenovo S860. It's a mid-range phone, I would say, with a metallic body which actually by the sound and touch more like feels plastic. It has a 5.3 inch screen with 720p resolution. It does weigh pretty much. It has its 190 grams, but I think the most significant thing would be from any spec is the 4000 milliamp battery in it, which is pretty much beast on paper. I will talk a little bit about it just in a moment. It actually has quad-core CPU and MTK 6582 which is clocked in at 1.3 gigahertz. It has an 8 megapixel camera on the back, this one with an LED flash, and also it has a 1.6 megapixel front facing camera. The 5.3 inch display is an IPS 720p. The phone has actually the previous generation Bluetooth, which is 3.0. It has WLAN, and it's a dual SIM phone actually. It's in a single alignment with the tray having two SIM cards right next to each other. On this side you have the power button, and you have the volume rocker with a 3.5mm jack up on the top next to a mic, and you have a dual speaker on the bottom next to the microUSB. Otherwise I can just say that this phone acts pretty beastly. And just to show the size difference, here's my Nexus 5, which usually is my daily driver, but now I have my card in LG. It's not much thicker, I would say. It's about just basically a little bit with this black bezel, just half of that, which you can see here. But on that kind of size you can see the difference, that on the side and the top you have quite a lot, and it's not as curved, just a little curve on it. But the battery so far, this is the first day I'm testing, and it got pretty long battery life. I was doing I would say a strong medium to heavy use test, which could be good for almost every user. I just got a stupid notification, let's cancel that. I still need to get used to that. I try to swipe away it like this or like this, which is actually not how it works. You can only swipe it up if you don't have any pin or anything on it. And I will link in some pictures what it took in HDR mode and in just normal 8 megapixel. You have the camera app, which is a pretty standard simple settings one. It can record up to 1080p. The setting generally is 6 megapixel for still photos and 720p for camera recording. There is the buttons, the capacitive buttons down here, which only light up if you press it, but very dim. But if you are used to this setup to have home, return, and the multitasking button, then that will cause not much problem to you. It does come with Android 4.2 stock, but the upgrade has been out for a while now for Android 4.42 KitKat. It didn't do much difference, I think, just some basic. It has the Lenovo's cover on it, UI. but and some basic apps which I haven't tested yet. I'm at 54% now after using it since very early in the morning. It's 3:36 my time. I've been using it from 7:30 a.m. so about 7 hours, 8 hours, but I can tell you in a moment exactly what I got. The phone, it's 8 hours 20 minutes actually used, and you can see I used the Lenovo's smart rotation. There was some which was actually like 28 seconds, but I don't get how does that work. Those are like how much the software used from the battery. I used some asphalt. I used it for like about half an hour. I will show you just in a moment a close up, but you can see some YouTube, some web browsing, downloading stuff, some emailing, a little phone call, but that wasn't much. Actually, the CPU worked 4 hours 22 minutes, and the screen worked almost 4 hours. By now it's 3 hours 58 minutes. I had Wi-Fi on for the whole 8 hours. I had some radio, actually listening to radio on it, so that's a thing. So I show you guys the power consumption which it gave up. I don't know how much you will see. There's the 8 hours 22 minutes, so you can see some of the apps here which used up some of the battery, and here is the screen on time, which is just about 4 hours, and I'm still over 50%, 54% exactly. And actually I used the OTG cable which they give it to charge 10%, 15% onto my Nexus, which runs Android Lollipop. Actually, comparing it to stock Android latest with a bit better specs, I would say it's not slow, but it does feel laggier and slower compared to Nexus 5. But I would say I don't have too big hands. You can see it's almost as big as my hand. So for me it does feel a bit big to handle one-handed on everyday tasks. But still it's a pretty good standing. Asphalt 8 runs pretty smooth. There's some stuttering in it and I could feel FPS dropping occasionally, but it's not that bad. But the IPS screen feels pretty good. You can almost mix it up with a full HD screen, but the DPI, the screen resolution, the pixel density is way smaller than for the Nexus. It's about half of it, which you can notice when you're reading web pages with full of text. But they are, because of the screen size, the text is pretty big, so it does come out clear. Anything dialer looks pretty okay. Everything seems pretty put together. My biggest concern that there is no one app drawer like you have on Nexus devices. As you can see here, these are all the apps. You can just put them into folders, which occasionally is some buggy, but you can see I have my social stuff here. I have some extra folder where I just keep. Actually, what I noticed that sometimes if I click like that onto a folder, it just turns. Okay, now it doesn't want to do it when I come closer. It just sometimes doesn't reach it, and sometimes it skips the screen to the other one, like you saw now. I know why it does that, but there are these apps I didn't use at all. This comes stock. Here you can have the power management, and here you can see rest of the stuff. That's another email client where, see you guys, this is the other email app where you can put in email accounts. I just used the Gmail one stock, as I didn't put all my email addresses in just one. What others can I say? Calculator looks decent if you need it. As I'm in college, occasionally I need it, so that's good if it's pretty neat. The calendar app I love a lot. It looks pretty decent, and they just put it together. You can swipe month like that. It's a pretty decent put together phone. The one thing which I couldn't find, how can I turn off the vibration for the capacitive buttons, which is kind of annoying for me, but it's not a big problem. I find the OTG cable good, as it comes only 16 gigs. There's no other version in it, so you need to somehow carry more files with you. So if you just buy you can buy these very small pen drives, like 4 gigs, 32 gigs even, or even more. Or if you have a 128 gig SD card, just put it in a SD card holder, put it to the OTG, and you have all of your stuff there. Or just your hard drive or whatever you are using. Just I don't know if you can see it, but the Nexus screen seems brighter, but only on the recording I think it seems brighter. But wait, I need to check brightness. Full. So those are almost equally as bright, but on the highest brighten, maybe the Lenovo looks a bit more bright, but when you're looking at personally, the colors look very nice. Maybe the yellow a bit fades, but I find it very good. So basically, one other thing which I find a little bit annoying, that you have this security application from Lenovo on it natively, which kind of annoys me, but it's a good theory. You have also power settings and some of these tools. So I would recommend this phone for people who use their phone for talking, relatively a lot emailing, but they are nothing more than moderate users, because then you can get the factory 2-3 days, what Lenovo says. But you can almost get the same thing now with the Nexus 5 with 100 lollipop with the battery saver mode. But the only annoying thing with the battery saver mode on the Nexus, which I just turned on for you guys now so you can see, is that when you turn it on, it will turn orange on the bottom and on the top, and you can see serious slowdown, so it probably puts most of the power away. Like loading apps, you can find it sometimes, but battery life increases dramatically if you have their life. So I would say these are roughly the same price now. When they came out, they were about the same, because like $350 unlocked, dual SIM, bigger screen, double size battery almost. Here you have more power in it. You have stock 100 lollipop, smaller option to choose this reddish orange, black and white option. Roughly the same camera, maybe a little bit lower on the front facing, but unless you're a selfie taker, then it won't count much. So I would say For power users who need the power but have the option to just charge it up, hook it up, and need the NFC and other stuff, just choose the Nexus 5, roughly the same price. And if you need the more power, bigger screen, maybe a little bit better audio output, then just go with the Lenovo, I would say. So far, this is my ideas about it, and hopefully see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!